Hi there, it's Donna from Tuffy Crafting, and today I've been playing about with boxes, and I was just trying to make a big box out of one sheet of cardstock. And I've been all over the internet just trying to work it out, and I saw a photograph on Pinterest, and I think it came from a blog from a lady called Terry Pocock, who just explained beautifully how to get a lid on a box without having to incorporate it into your main cutting and folding. I'll show you what I mean in a moment. So thank you, Terry, for that. I'm really grateful for that, because when you're making a box using A4 paper or even 12 by 12, if you want a nice big chunky box like this that's going to, quite frankly, fit quite a lot, because of the size of the lid, you're losing so much of the height. So I'm going to show you this. But I made a mistake with this because first I forgot to put my flaps on. And then I went and stuck the thumb thing on the wrong, it just went wrong from start to finish. But this really was just me playing about with it. Just so wrong. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be using the Snail Away, that's what it's called. Let's get the catalogue out so I can show you what's in this suite. It is really bright and it's great for youngsters. And where is it? Oh, it's not that. Look at the index, Donna. Look at the index. Snail Mail, actually, it's called. Snail Away. So you see how bright it is. So there's the stamp set, which I don't have, but there is a stamp set that goes with it. There are also dies that go with it as well that make these really cute little boxes. And you've got some other bits and pieces, some resin hearts there. You've got some twine that goes with that. And you can buy the whole collection. And there are the papers. Let me show you the papers. I've been cutting them up. Me and a couple of demonstrator friends of mine just share our paper. So this is one of them that I'm going to be using today, but really beautiful bright colours, good for backing. Look at those snails, they're just so much fun. So I was going to use that and then I changed my mind. It's got lots of toadstools, mushrooms, whatever you want to call them, like lovely bright hearts on there. And that was the other one that I was going to use, and then I just completely changed my mind. But I think I might use that for another project. It's just so lovely and bright. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to make this box. I've already pre-cut everything just to save some time. Let's just move that out of the way. And you're going to start off with a piece of cardstock that measures. You can take this out of a piece of A4, just trim it down to 11.5, and then the width stays the same at 8.25. On the long side, you can use your trimmer or use your scoreboard. I prefer the trimmer personally, just saves me getting two things out. And the width of this box is what is it? 2 3/4. So it's 2 3/4 square. I've not got a brain on today. So we're going to score at, make sure I got the scoring tool. I had an error earlier where I cut it. So 2 3/4. And then at 5.5. Sorry, I was just being super cautious there. And then at 8.25. And at 11. And then what that leaves you is just a 1/2 inch tab at the end. And then on the short side, you're going to score at 2 3/4. So that's going to be our bottom. And at 7.5. So let me show you what we've got. some of these bits and pieces we're going to take away. So there you've got 3/4 of an inch. This is the main part of your box, which measures, that's the height of it, which measures 4 3/4, and these are the flaps at the bottom. You're then going to take another piece. This is Bermuda Bay. So another piece of Bermuda Bay. Find a scrap would be the best thing. You don't want to start delving into another piece of cardstock just for this little bit, if you can help it. So you're going to score this at 3/4 of an inch on either side, on either end, on the long side. I didn't say how much it, didn't say how big it was, did I? It's 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. I've got a blog post for this. All of the details are on there. So I'll come back to this bit. So that's all the cutting and scoring that you need to do for this piece. Just while I'm here, you then need 4 pieces. This is Blushing Bride, and you need 4 pieces of this that measure 2.5 by 4.5. So you've got 4 pieces of those. They're going to sit on there like that. And then you've got 4 pieces of your DSP of choice, and they are each 2 3/8 by 4 3/8. Now, if you are using DSP, watch your direction when you start cutting it. I also tried to watch when I was cutting it to get as many of these images in as possible. There was one that I had, I couldn't seem to get a whole image in, and I will use that for the back. So I'm going to do all of my folding and burnishing first, and then I'll stick these on. So with a bone folder, fold and burnish all of your score lines. So this snail mail paper is in our new autumn, it's not spring summer catalogue, it's late in the day, sorry, spring summer catalogue, which went live at the beginning of this month, beginning of January. I don't know when you'll be seeing this video, and runs all the way through till June. So on my blog there is a link to the catalogue, and there are also links to all of the products that I've used. So let's fold and burnished all of those score lines. So here's your tab at the end, very similar to lots of the other boxes that I've made. You're going to take this skinny rectangle off there. A bigger pair of scissors will probably be better, but they are what they are now. And then I'm just going to cut diagonally into that corner, like that. And then I'm also going to take this little rectangle off there as well. Just got a sight there of how absolutely awful my nails are, and it's just that we are in lockdown here in the UK. There are no manicurists open, no nail technicians, and somebody once absolutely delightfully left a lovely message on my YouTube channel to tell me just how embarrassed they would be to be, you know, showing nails like that. I'm proud of them. You know, I'm sticking to the lockdown rules, not going anywhere, not having anybody illicitly coming to my house and sorting my nails out. So there. Right, so I'm just cutting up all of these score lines now. These are the flaps at the bottom. Cutting up all of those. I put this side because it reminds me where everything goes. So looking at this is the front of the box, and then for all except the second flap in, you're just going to wedge into these slightly. It just reduces the bulk a little bit at the bottom of the box and just makes it all fold together. There's no special measurements, just wedge into the corners like that. And you can as well, and it does help, Just take a little bit off the end. It will just reduce the bulk of the bottom. So I'm just going to cut into the corners here. It does get a little bit fiddly at this point. So these two, either side of our square that I'm not cutting into, these two I'm just going to take a little bit off, just off the bottom. I've not measured that, I've just taken a little bit off. And then I'm just going to wedge into this one as well, but I'm not going to take anything off. I don't know if it matters either way, but just take that off there like that. So that's what we have there. So what will happen when we put this together, wherever this tab is here, where that folds and sticks there, that's going to be the back. Now it's important to know that because I want these two to stay in and these two to come out. So I'll take that off there. That off there like that, and then this one is going to come off as well. Let me just check. Just cut up all of them first. I'll sort that bit out in a minute. So that's all of our scoring and cutting. And then what I'm going to do off camera, you don't need to watch this, it'll be boring to watch. I'm going to put each of those panels on like that, and then stick those on there, and then we'll be ready to put the rest of the box together. So I'm just putting the rest of these on here. Just using liquid glue because it just gives me a chance to just manoeuvre them around a little bit if they're not right, but you can use like a dispenser glue if you want to. It's just your glue of choice, or there's tear and tape. But this is my preferred one. Look how bright this is. Definitely for somebody who loves bright colours. So that is my box before I've put it all together. So I'm just going to let that glue dry off a little bit. And then I've got a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock, and this measures 2.5 square. I think it's 2.5, but I do need to check. Yep, 2.5 square. And then this is 2 3/8 square. And I'm just going to stick that on the top. And this is going to go on my lid. Like that. So I'll just put that away to dry. Now, talking of the lid, there we are. That's what we had. So I put those score lines on there. I'm just going to fold and burnish those. Nice tight score lines. And then we're going to round it. Now you can round it using some scissors, or if you have one, there's the Detail Trio Punch. And you don't need to round both ends, just whatever is going to be kind of like your lid, or the front of your lid, like that. Now I'm not going to put the little thumb bit in to the box until I've actually put it together, so that's where I went wrong before. So that's that sorted, and then we can put this on here and then put this to one side. And let that dry. Liquid glue does dry quite quickly, but I do just want to give it a chance just to set. So there's that. That's our lid. Now the other thing that I need to do is remove 2 of these, because I only need 2 flaps for this. So I've just positioned this with the box formed So that's going to be, I want that to be the back of the box, like that. So you see the seam is in the back, and I need these two to stay in. So this front one needs to come off. So it's a bit fiddly to get to, but you could, the way I've done it is just to just mitre into there. Sorry, if you just mitre into there, it then makes it a little bit easier to get to. I'm going to use my snips for this because they are sharper. And then very carefully, you could do it with the paper trim if you wanted to. I don't know if I could trust myself to do that. But try and keep it nice and neat. So it's just starting to form together now. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to turn it upside down so it's easier. I'm going to run some tear and tape onto this tab here. The tear and tape for me is the best thing for boxes. It's so strong. I can't get on, I don't know why, I can't get on with the dispenser glues. It's just one of those things, I can't get on with them. So make sure that's as close to the score line as possible. Stuck right down, and I'm just going to just snip off those excess bits there. And then with my take your pick tool, which I had earlier and now has disappeared, there it is. Just take that off. Turn it back round again and fold that over to where that tab is. And then, if your score lines are accurate, this will work. So bring that over. There's just a little bit of kind of in my head going, oh, please work. Fold that over, and yeah, there's probably just a smidge. So there we are. There's our box now forming a nice square. Let's deal with this bit going on at the bottom. So these were the two flaps that I made slightly shorter by cutting a bit off, and I wedged into them. I'm going to fold those in. And then this one that I wedged but didn't make shorter, I'm going to fold in there. And I'm going to fold that over like that, keeping it all nice and square. But first I'm going to put some glue here. And again, I'm going to use tear and tape. I just feel that that works better. Just tear that off there. It does tear nicely. Just have to be careful that you don't take card away with you. But that's worked okay. Make sure that's pressed down nice and firmly. And bring the tape off. Then what you're going to do with the tape there, you're going to bring this forward, but you need to make sure that this stays square and not kind of squashing over like that. Keep it nice and secure. Hold it firmly with your fingers and then bring the box over carefully, making sure that it all lines up. Now you can do that with liquid glue if you like, so you've got a little bit of wiggle room, but then that's come down like that. And then just, you can use your bone folder, push that down there like that, just to make sure it's all squished together. So there's your box with no lid. Now, just before I do put that lid on, I'm just going to nick a little bit of that off there, because it might not go together properly. So just a little bit like that, as neat as you can. It's not really going to be seen, but it will be a little bit. So as neat as you can, just nick into there like that. Now, work out again where the back of your box is. So it's where that seam is. These are going to fold in. Here's your lid, and that is going to push. Now, again, you might need to just loosen these off a little bit, which I'm going to do. So there's where you've rounded, that's the front. And I'm just going to mitre these off a little bit. Now before I put it together, I'm just going to check that that fits in there. And then if you look, that score line needs to match that edge there. Now we are going to try this with tear and tape, so I'm going to just push that in there carefully. And then once I'm happy with it, stick it down. Now it worked just now with my other one, but I didn't have the flaps with my other one. So I'm just in my head, I'm going, please work. Because I'm really loving this box so far. And if it all goes wrong at the end, I'm just going to have such a tantrum. And I'm going to be super brave and put 2 bits on. Because the thing is, when tear and tape sticks, it sticks. And then it's going nowhere. So make sure they're on firmly. Take your pick tool. And take that off like that. Just fold that in a bit. Get your box. Work out what the back is again. There's my seam. I'm going to push those flaps in there. We could bring them out maybe. That might make my job easier. So I'm going to push that in there. And then when this cut line matches that score line, I'm going to press down. You just need a little brave moment. That drop down. There we go. And then just smooth that down like that. And I'm going to push that in and make sure that's absolutely stuck. That's going nowhere. You can fill your box with treats at that point. Fold those flaps in. And then that's going to go in like that. And that is nice and secure. That's going nowhere. But what we need is a little thumb gap there. Now I've got the 1/2 inch punch and this isn't available anymore. But there is the small blooms punch that works. Or before you put it all together, you could actually make a small 1/2 circle. So I'm just going to put that in there like that. Have somebody's eye out with it, but that just needs to be in the centre. And then I'm going to fold that in like that. Now I don't want to leave that there. I want a bit of a sentiment on the front. So just put that to one side. I'm also not going to put any ribbon or anything on that. I've got the Here's the Card stamp. I love this because we've got lots of different sentiments on here. I'm hoping that my happy birthday is going to fit into my circles. I think it does, because I was originally going to put hearts on this, but now actually I'm going to put circles on it. And I'm going to get some more scrap of Bermuda Bay and punch that. And then I'm going to get my, I've been calling this Blushing Bride. I actually think this is Flirty Flamingo. Oh dear. You can use whatever colour you like. Whatever takes your preference. Right. It's Flirty Flamingo, isn't it? It's not Blushing Bride. Have you been watching this going, it's not Blushing Bride? Look, I never said I was perfect. Right, Bermuda Bay ink. So before I cut out the circle, I'm going to stamp my sentiment onto my card. That's come out right first time. And then the 2-inch punch, I'm hoping this fits. Oh, it does. Line it up, punch it out. And then what I'm going to do is just, that needs brightening up. And it needs brightening up with some rhinestones, I think. Trying to have a look, see what else I've got in here that might brighten it up. I do have some no, that's a totally different colour. No, let's have some rhinestones. And I'm going to use my tweezers for this. I'm going to use some big ones. Just want to brighten it up a little bit. But if you had perhaps some pearls or some brightly coloured gems, you know, anything like that would work. You can even colour these in if you want to. Now these need dimensionals. Mini dimensionals. I don't use the big dimensionals, I only use the mini ones. I don't know why, I just do. Now, it is my daughter's birthday on Monday. And probably by the time you get to watch this video, It's well gone her birthday. So what I might do actually is fill this with sweets. Not that she's young anymore, but I will fill it up with some treats, maybe some smellies or something. And I'm going to put that on there. Now, the other thing that I did is fussy cut some of those sentiments that are on one of those papers. And I'm going to stick them on there like that. So again, you could use any glue for this, but I'm going to use mini dimensionals again because it just makes it stand out. Let's put that on there like that. And I'm going to have to discard that one and then put that one on there. So they've just been fussy cut out, that's all. They were quite easy to do. There's not very much that I fussy cut now unless it's quite big. Eyesight's too bad to do that, so anything that's nice and easy. Put that there. So I'd fill that. I've got no sweets in the house because if I have sweets in the house, I eat them. You could put some ribbon on this if you want to, but that lid is on nice and secure. That's going nowhere. I promise you that is going absolutely nowhere. And I'm going to put that on there like that. So again, dimensionals. And I'm going to put a fair few on here. I'm not as frugal with dimensionals as I used to be. That will do. Let's not go mad. Make sure I've got the front of the box and put that on there, get it straight and pop it on like that. And there you go. Cute little box in really lovely, well, it's not a cute little box at all, it's a big box, but in some lovely bright colours. And yeah, that is Flirty Flamingo. It's not Blushing Bride at all. So sorry about that. So I hope you like it. I hope it's inspired you. It's dead easy to make. Give it a go. And if you want all of the measurements, please head over to my blog that's in the description bar just below here. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.